Hi, and welcome to another edition of Hyper Bitcoinization with Anders. Welcome to the show. Um, as usual, I will, as the new thing, so maybe it's not so usual, but I've done it a few times. I will first discuss what my opinion is of the year in which Bitcoin will go into hyper Bitcoinization and the dollar and other fiat currencies that are artificially held up by law and force will hyperinflate towards Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin will take over as the monetary system of the world. My estimation of that, or estimation, you can say, is still 5 years from now in 2023, end of 2023 to try and be specific. But yeah, let's see. Surely there must come a day where I change that outlook. Um, that actually leads very well into my topic for this video, which is um, Gresham's law, what Gresham's law is, and why that will lead to um, Bitcoin being the only money. Why it will lead to hyper Bitcoinization. Essentially, Gresham's law explains when there is several money in your pocket, you will always spend the money that you believe to be of less value first. Not as in a unit bias less value, saying a Ripple being 2 cents, Stellar Lumens being 4 cents, and Bitcoin being 8,000, and that's why you spend them. You would spend those if you feel or believe that they are of less value, they are maybe less secure, they have less network effects. But naturally, especially what is the reason it's relevant is if or compared to the fiat currencies of the world. And essentially, when you look at fiat currencies and the fact that there is a built-in uh, feature of fiat currency that hey guys, we're going to make it worth less every year by 2-3%. That's our target. We're going to rob value of your savings by a couple of percent. Then that will be seen as something that will have less value compared to something like Bitcoin that has a fixed supply, and everything being equal, will actually gain in value, be deflationary instead of inflationary. So in a situation where people start to realize that normal fiat currency is losing value, like when there starts to be a crowd realization, like we're talking more than the 1% of 1% of the population right now that maybe truly understands Bitcoin, if it's even that much, but it's becoming more widely known, the value proposition of Bitcoin, then people will start to exit fiat, in my opinion, fiat currency, and go to Bitcoin. And when you see that continuous change in the price between the two, like we have seen every year since 2009, when Bitcoin was introduced. The first price of Bitcoin was established in 2010 in the summer. That was the first time there was actually someone that was willing to put a price and pay for Bitcoin, and that was with the pizza purchase, where 2 pizzas was bought for 10,000 Bitcoin. But it's that price has kept being going in the direction of, well, let's say Bitcoin's favor, and sooner or later more people will realize that that is not just a fluke. It's not just by luck. It's because there is a fundamental reason that Bitcoin, it has better properties as money. It has better properties of storing wealth or value because it's not being diluted amongst other things. But essentially, there's nothing in the world that is better than Bitcoin on the four properties of money, that four traditional properties of money, which is portability. There's nothing that is more portable than Bitcoin. Divisibility. You can't really find anything that can be divided more than Bitcoin. One Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis, and when that becomes too valuable, even one Satoshi, as I understand it, with subforks, you can even make it more decimal, like we can create more decimals. Number three, durable. There's nothing that is more durable than a Bitcoin, as long as you don't throw away your private keys. So if you have a proper backup plan, stored it with Sapo in the Swiss Alps or something, then they are pretty durable. And lastly is fungibility or privacy, it's called in money speak, maybe, where Bitcoin is not quite there yet, agreeable, but within, I would say, 1 to 2 years from now, Bitcoin will be fully private. So on those four traditional parameters or properties that money has been evaluated upon, and traditionally, historically, always, whenever a new money has arrived, had a better package on those four properties, then that money would take over. That is what we've seen when we went from seashells to gold, and now going from gold to Bitcoin as sound money. You could say, yeah, sure, but gold hasn't been money for 100 years, or almost 100 years. We have had fiat currency. Well, that is not really by nature. It is more by force and law that has been the case. Excuse me for my voice. I was watching Denmark playing a World Cup game last night, and it was pretty loud there. And when we were talking, you pretty much end up yelling, so you lose your voice the day after. What happens in a hyper Bitcoinization situation, like what Gresham's law will lead to, when you always spend the money that has less value compared to the one that has more value, is that people start to realize that you have this one currency that is going to that is really being used by people to get rid of. Then nobody wants to have that money that everybody else also just wants to get rid of. And that's when you will see in my opinion, the S curve of the hyper Bitcoinization really setting in, and that's why you will see that the world will end up having only one money, because as long as different money in one geographical area has different properties, you will always see, according to Gresham's law, and it makes absolutely logical sense, you will see that people will spend the less valuable money first, the one that in somehow performs less good on any of those four properties. And when there's nothing that has better properties than Bitcoin, surely, according to Gresham's law, Bitcoin will be the one money that will be the global sound money of the world. Oh, and one important thing, apart from those four traditional properties of money that Bitcoin is by far superior on, as long as we give Bitcoin 2 years to get full privacy, full 100% privacy, then Bitcoin, because of its non-physical decentralization aspects, have introduced two new properties that makes Bitcoin even further extremely valuable, and that is the fact that it cannot be confiscated. It is totally government hard. Okay, those two together, really, it's not too different. And also the fact that Bitcoin value transfers cannot be censored by anyone. Even if the entire internet is shut down, Blockstream has been so kind to set up a lot of satellites, or at least rented them in to satellites that now are covering the every single human being on the planet with signals. That means that you can actually verify your the blocks and your transactions through the satellite signal. So yeah, that's about it. I think nothing more to add there. Surely Gresham's Law will lead to a world where Bitcoin will be the only money, because it is a superior money, and there can only be one money, because you will always spend the weakest one first. And that's also why when you think that other cryptocurrencies that may not be quite as good as Bitcoin, in fact, they are terribly far worse. They're terrible compared to Bitcoin. But if you start thinking about, I mean, don't even think about Ethereum as a money. It's not really a money. It's a gas that is meant to be powering decentralized applications. Good luck with that. But if you look at Ripple as money, Dash as money, all these other, then good luck with having that as playing any role in the world of money going forward, because according to Gresham, there can be only one. I strongly believe that. All right, thank you for watching, guys. Have a good day. Bye.